Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us in another session of our research process for beginners. As you know my name. My name is Dr. Schizle. I said before, it's my pseudonym. So, in previous classes, we'll be looking at the research process and the study. So today, we're looking at statement of the problem. If you are following us all this while, I said we're looking at the research process stage by stage, just to give us easy landing when writing our research. So it's for beginners. So statement of the problem as is what goes statement of the problem. This is seen as a concise and a concrete summary of the problem which we want to solve. At the beginning, when we looked at the whole research process, there must be a problem you want to solve before you enter the research. Then the background, we look at the general problem as a whole to have an idea for the audience to know this is what we are trying to do. So now, in everything we've done, we want to bring a summary of the problem itself. That's the statement of the problem. And there are various stages we need to pass through when we're looking at statement of a problem. Because we don't just write the problem just like that, but we have to pass through various stages. There are various paragraphs that it contains. And when you're looking at a problem, there's a very important stuff you need to know and understand is that it's basically based on what you know already. Because it's the problem you've observed. In the first slide, I told you that any work you are doing should be based on your interests. This is where everything comes in. Because I always advise my students, as much as possible, just use at least or maximum 2 references. Cite just 2 references, it's not a problem. Because this is where you go to write your interests. This is your interest right now in this work. So, in terms of a problem, the first thing to do is to conceptualize the problem. Conceptualize the problem. What that means is that you have to describe the problem. Like you are giving us a preamble of the problem. The general problem. Some people will call it general problem. Here you will ask the question, what is the problem? Who does this problem affect? Why are we carrying out this study? So you consider it that people will see from the general view the problem you are trying to work on. And this conceptualization problem too can also contain a brief literature or a brief citation of somebody to say, okay, based on what this person has said, this is a problem you want to work on. So that is what we call conceptualizing the problem, the statement of the problem. Then the next stage or the next paragraph, as case may be, in the similar problem is to discuss the significance of the research. How relevant is your research? You discuss it here. What makes it important to you? Why is it important? Why are we carrying out this study? You write it critically. Then you can also discuss here how is it going to be relevant in the literatures. Because any work you are doing is actually based on your area of study. It's going to help your area of study too. So here you discuss the relevance of the research. Let me recap again. The first thing you do is to discuss the general problem you've discovered. Then, why is this your research? Why is it significant? You will not tell the audience, okay, what makes it very important in the sense that if this problem is not tackled or if the problem is not dealt with, how would life be if the problem is not there? Let me discuss briefly about the waste recycling, which we discussed in the first lecture we did, where I specifically said that we are working on recycling. My problem that I observed in my community was that waste is just everywhere. It's really dumped. And we have recycling plants in society. The problem is this, which we discussed, was that despite the presence of recycling plants, waste is still dumped indiscriminately. Could this be caused by knowledge towards recycling or the attitude towards recycling? That's just like a general problem. So now the thing about research is that we've discovered that if peradventure the problem of waste management is not there, or if peradventure everybody uses recycling properly, there won't be this dumping of refuse in my community. I could also say, if everybody know about recycling and the attitude towards it is positive, people will strictly adhere towards recycling, thereby removing the indiscriminate dumping of refuse in my community, make community clean. That is significance. I just tell the audience why it is important this research need to be done. Then, after I've told my audience about significance and relevance of it, then I'll look at the research gap. Research gap is where, if you are a researcher in any area of study, you now discuss from literatures you have discovered, you've read. You must have read various literatures in line with what your research is all about. You discover that people have not done works in this area of study in, let's say specifically in Lobo community, so for example, or maybe in Benin State, Edo State. You understand what I'm saying? So that can be a gap. As based on this area of study, based on my field of study, no work have been done in this my topic. It's possible based on what you have read, or it could be no work have been done in this my area of study in my community of interest. That can be a gap to fill in terms of literatures. Does that make sense? Okay, now I've discussed the research gap or gap in knowledge and variables of the study. Variables of the study now I will now explain in detail. I will now bring out the aim of my study. Based on I've discussed the context, I've discussed the significance, I've discussed the research gap. I said, based on the above discussion, this study aim to assess the knowledge and the attitude of residents in the Igbonosa community towards waste recycling. Does that make sense? Let me recap again. Statement of the problem is seen as a summary or a concise and concrete summary of the problem of study. Okay? When you are doing that, there are some key things that we want to see in terms of the problem. We've already discussed general problem, which is contextualize the problem in general. Then we look at what is the relevance of this research. What's the of it? What makes it important? Then the gap. Because you must have read literatures in line with what you've done before. Maybe if you're not saying work that have been done in that community, maybe work have been done, that's a gap. Or maybe they didn't talk about attitude. Now you're talking about attitude. That's a gap. Nobody have done this. So any literature you are doing, you must be able to add to existing literature. You must also have an impact in it. So you discuss it in research gap. Then various of the study is like just discussing your aim of this study. You bring out the variables. Do with knowledge, do with attitude towards waste recycling. Does that make sense? So in view of this, we've gone through statement of a problem. In the next class, we'll look at research questions. Here we'll go deeper to how important research questions are. If you have any question, please put it on the comment section. Then if there's a need, we can do a live video based on demand from our audience. Thank you for listening and stay blessed.